This demonstration we're going to look at creating hardware and guest operating system profiles. The purpose of the profile is to make creation of virtual machines quicker. What the hardware profile gives me is it gives me a set of hardware settings that I can then apply to new virtual machines as I create them from either the new virtual machine wizard or also from a template. The guest operating system profile allows me to create a specific profile based off the guest operating system. So I can do things like specify administrator passwords, product IDs, time zones. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to create a new hardware profile. So in the new hardware profile, and what we'll do with this one here is we'll just call this Windows Desktop. Won't bother putting in the description, but I could at this point here. The owner of this profile will be me, administrator. Under my hardware settings, what I'm going to do under BIOS is we'll enable the numlock. We'll leave the startup order as is. Profile for the processor is going to be a 2.4 GHz Pentium 4. We're going to specify 2 GB of RAM for these virtual machines. We're not going to bother with the floppy disk drive. We're not really going to bother with anything with the COM ports either. Under the IDE devices for the virtual DVD, we're going to connect through the physical CD DVD drive. On the network adapter, we're going to specify the internal network, and we're not going to bother changing anything with the MAC address. So now we've done that, we can click OK, and we now have our Windows 7 hardware profile. The next thing we're going to do here is create the guest operating system profile. So in the new guest operating system profile, we're going to call this one Windows 7. We're going to click on the guest operating system. We're going to randomize the computer names as they're created. Full name for licensing purposes is going to be mine. And my organization, QA. My admin password is going to be password. And the same thing again. Now this will generate an error at the end because Windows 7 actually uses admin rather than administrator for the local account. We won't bother putting in the product key. We'll actually specify that as part of the creation of the virtual machine. Time zone we'll leave as default, but we will change the operating system for Windows 7. Now what we could also do here as well is we could get the virtual machine to join an Active Directory domain if we wished. We could also specify answer files, and we can also specify run once. We'll click OK, and like I said, I will get an error. So just close this, change this to admin, specify the password again. Click OK, we now have our guest operating system profile as well. So now when I create virtual machines from say a template, what I could do is I could associate the hardware profile for Windows Desktop, Windows Server, File Server, Database Server, Exchange Server, and I can also specify the guest operating system, so Windows 7 for example, Windows 2008, Windows 2008 R2. And that's the end of this demonstration. Thanks very much.